Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about the burden of being a high performer. And we're going to use lessons from the Bible, the account of Matthew chapter 25 from 14 to 29. So let's get into it. Have you ever worked so hard to get something only to realize that once you had it, the real challenge had just begun? I recently spoke to a business owner who said something that stuck with me. They run a cleaning service and they told me, I have so many clients now that I have to literally turn some people away. But 4 years ago when I started, I couldn't even pay people to use my service. That one sentence captures a powerful truth about life. When you're just getting started at an endeavor, success feels impossible. But when you become good, opportunities flood in from every which direction so fast that managing them can become a real challenge. And if you're not careful, being good can start to feel like a burden. This reminded me of one of the most powerful lessons in the Bible, the parable of the talents. It is a story that reveals why some people rise while other people stay stuck. But it also teaches a hidden lesson about the cost of being good. So I'm going to give a quick summary about this parable, as I know a lot of people are not familiar with the Bible. In Matthew 25 from 14 to 29, Jesus tells the story of a master who's leaving on a long journey. Before he goes away, he gathers 3 of his servants and gives them 3 different amounts of money, which is called talents. To the first servant, he gave 5 talents. To the second servant, he gave 2 talents. And to the third servant, he gave 1 talent. The first 2 servants immediately get to work. They invest and double their money, turning 5 into 10 and 2 into 4. But the third servant does nothing. Out of fear, he buries his talents in the ground. When the master returned, he praises the first 2 servants and rewards them with even more responsibility. But the third servant, the master takes away his talent and gives it to the one who already had 10 talents. And then the master says something that explains how life truly works. He said, "For to everyone who has, more will be given, and they will have an abundance. But from the one who has not, even what they do have will be taken away." See, this isn't just about money. It's about effort, skill, and responsibility. And it explains why being good comes with a hidden cost. So let's talk about the 2 burdens of being good. One is the burden of high expectations. Once you become good at something, your expectations increase. What used to be an achievement for you now is just your baseline. Because you are skilled, people assume that you can take on more and more responsibilities and they don't need to help you out much, and that you will always deliver results. This is both a good thing and a bad thing because it's a privilege and also pressure. On the one hand, your efficiency means that you can accomplish tasks faster and with better results. But on the other hand, people come to rely on you more and more, sometimes a little bit too much. At work, you might be the go-to person for that last-minute project. In relationships, you might be the person fixing all the problems. The better you are, the less room you have to fail, and the more responsibilities naturally shift onto you. This is exactly what happens in the parable of the talents. The lazy servant had 1 talent, but that 1 talent was taken away from him and given to the most successful servant. In life, responsibilities don't just disappear. They shift from the most incompetent person to the most competent person. And that leads us to burden number 2, the burden of taking on other people's responsibilities. Have you ever had to fix someone else's mistake? Maybe at work, maybe at home, maybe on a group project. When you are good, responsibilities don't just multiply for you. They start sliding onto your table from other people's table. Here's what that looks like in real life. At work, the reliable employee takes on extra work because coworkers are inefficient. They always meet the deadlines while other people slack off. So because the company needs the work done, guess whose table it lands on? In the family life, In families, one parent ends up doing everything in the house for the kids because the other parent doesn't know how to handle certain tasks. Instead of learning, he or she just relies more and more on the competent parent. In friendships, the friend who always organizes meetups is the one keeping the group together. If they stop, everything falls apart. In business, struggling small shops lose customers to big companies like Amazon, because guess what? Amazon has figured out and mastered efficiency. The same principle applies everywhere. If people around you are not reliable, their task will eventually become yours, which is good and bad. If you don't set boundaries, you're going to carry the weight of others, and eventually it will burn you out. But it's not all bad news. Despite the burdens, being good at what you do is a powerful advantage. It gives you control over opportunities. It makes you indispensable, and it opens a lot of doors that would otherwise stay closed. Think about any field: business, sports, creative work. The people who are exceptional are not begging for opportunity. Opportunity finds them. That is why, if you're just starting out, your goal should be to persist until you're so good that people cannot ignore you. The struggles at the beginning, the rejections, the failures, the slow progress are the price that you pay to reach a certain point where success is inevitable. Becoming good isn't just about skill. It is about consistency, resilience, and the ability to keep going when other people give up. Let's go back to my friend's cleaning business. They didn't start with an overwhelming number of clients. They struggled. They had to cold call people. They advertised for free. Sometimes they even worked at a loss just to get the experience, just to get their name out there. But they kept going. And over time, they became so good that they now have to turn away clients. Contrast that with businesses that did not survive, those that quit a little bit too early or failed to adapt. They buried their talents instead of multiplying them, and as a result, the market took their opportunities and always gives it to someone else. If you're just starting out, do not be discouraged by slow progress. Your job isn't to complain about what you don't have. Your job is to persist until you become the person who is trusted with more and more responsibility. So let's look at a few practical steps on how to manage this reality. For those who are already good at your endeavor, you have 3 tasks. 1, set boundaries. Just because you can do more doesn't mean that you should do more. You should learn to say no. Pay attention to everyone else that you're working with. Do enough to be excellent, to excel above the pack and satisfy your conscience and your self-esteem. But don't break your back, especially if you're going to get paid the same amount at the end of the day. 2, prioritize your energy. Focus on high-impact tasks, not just urgent ones. And 3, teach other people. If people rely on you too much, train them, help them become good so that they can become self-sufficient. Now, if you're someone who's just started at an endeavor, if you're new to a field, you have 3 tasks. 1, start where you are. Do not wait for perfect conditions. Work with what you have. 2, track small wins. Growth happens in small, consistent steps. And then 3, seek feedback so that you can improve and grow. Learn from your mistakes and refine your skills over time. In conclusion, you want to ask yourself, where do I stand right now? If you are good at your endeavor, your challenge is not just to perform, but to manage your responsibilities wisely so that you do not burn yourself out. If you are just starting out at your endeavor, your challenge is to persist and grow until one day you are trusted with more and more responsibility. The parable of the talents isn't just about money. It is about effort, responsibility, and growth. So ask yourself, am I managing my talents wisely, or am I waiting for success without any effort? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear where you are on your journey. See you in the next video.